Okay, yeah. Perfect. Okay, guys, we are a week away from Skill with Stability happening in a week at Searcy, Arkansas, April 24th to the 26th. If you have seen some of my previous lives, you know that I'm jumping on here with amazing people to share their stories, to talk a little bit about what you can experience at the event. If you're watching from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from any of the places that we're blasting this out, just know that you cannot miss this event. And hopefully today you're going to get some insight into somebody super special to me, Emily Gass. She's part of our amazing team at Hite. And I feel like I'm always like building it up, but it's just so true. Like we have just so many incredible people inside of this organization. And I'm just so proud to just, it makes it so much enjoyable when you have amazing people. So I'm excited to highlight you, Emily, today. And we're going to talk about the track that we are working on for Skill and Stability. So if you haven't picked your track, just make sure that you stay tuned for what's to come inside of the digital marketing track. And if you haven't booked your ticket, make sure you go to skillwithstability.com and get your ticket today. We're literally in the last spots for the event, and we want to make sure that we sell out as soon as possible. This is kind of crazy. It's our first event that we're getting over 600 people together, and in Searcy, Arkansas, of all places, right? Like I think everybody's like, why Searcy? Why not Las Vegas? We have so many things to share on that, and we're going to do another live as we get closer to the event on that specific. But we're really excited. Emily, let's talk a little bit about your background, because I think it's so cool that you have gone through, what you study and then what you like are doing today, and like that journey has been, I don't know, it has been really cool. So talk for those that don't know you, talk to us about who you are.
Thank you so much. Well, my name is Emily Gass. I am the Vice President of Client Experience at Hite Digital, and we are a full-service digital marketing agency. I have taken kind of a bit of an interesting path to get here. I actually went to undergrad and my master's in journalism. I was really dead set I wanted to work in a broadcast newsroom. And as much as I loved that, I also am the daughter of a small business owner. My dad owns a furniture store in Columbia, Missouri, which is where I live and where I'm from. And I have always had this passion for how do you help businesses thrive? Because I know what it's like to kind of be part of that small business family. I knew how proud I was when people would tell me that they shopped at my dad's store, or when he would donate to charities in our community and really be a community leader. And as much as I loved journalism, there was part of my heart that wasn't fulfilled, kind of by that path in life. So after graduating, I worked in marketing, I worked in full service advertising, and then I had this accidentally incredible opportunity to come join the Hite team and build out our client experience from scratch, which was equal parts absolutely incredible and totally terrifying.
We were just doing a live together inside of, one of our masterminds that we host, and we were talking about this topic of client experience. And I think, you did such a good job about explaining, which I think any business owner can connect with this, right? Of like, how do we make sure that we put ourselves in our client's position? And so I'm excited that you are going to be part of this track, because not only we're going to talk about digital marketing and what it is and how can you improve and how can you take your business to the next level, right? As we're talking about in this live. But I think it's also about like who you're serving. And I think you do a really great job inside of Hite of reminding our team of putting ourselves in our client's shoes first, so that way the experience can really be that. Another thing that I really enjoy that you just mentioned is the fact that you're the daughter of an entrepreneur, and how important that is in terms of, connecting. I think we're going to see that a lot of the businesses, obviously, that are coming up, most of them are business owners, or they're bringing their teammates. And I think there's going to be a really great opportunity to connect. I think events do that, where you're able to like connect in a deeper level with people that hopefully are very aligned in values, and that just creates an opportunity for better relationships. And just, this is kind of like the first thing out of this event. Emily, can you talk to us about, what is your expectation for the people that are coming to your track, and maybe like give us a little bit of some of the highlights that you're preempting that you're going to get, some of the takeaways that you think that, okay, you need to be in this track because this is what we're going to cover pretty much.
Absolutely. So expectations for the event. Come excited, come tired, come grouchy, come happy. Just come. We're just excited to have you there. So ultimately, there are some pieces of the track that I'm most excited to talk about. So I'll share those because I'm really passionate about them. We're going to be talking about your customer journey. And I think a lot of business owners overlook some gaps in their customer journey just because they're not looking at it with the right perspective. So, one of my goals in the parts of the track that I'm leading is to get people to switch their perspective and think, what is my customer's journey? We make the mistake of thinking that your customer journey begins from that first phone call or contact form, and it doesn't. It begins when someone realizes they have a problem, or it begins when something tells them they have a problem. I like to think of these groups as I'm problem aware and I'm problem unaware. And
Hmm.
so we have to understand, how are we providing for our customer journey before they've met us? What does that look like? How do we speak to them? How do we find them? And by walking through our customer journey from the very beginning, which is who are our two groups of aware and unaware, through the very end, where they've already paid, but there's that chance to reach back out for referrals or for an ongoing relationship. I think that will give a lot of business owners the opportunity to step back and say, do I have both ends covered? And I think we're going to find a lot of businesses, even very experienced ones, maybe haven't prioritized that yet. So I'm really excited to do actionable takeaways for, what do you do? Where do you start?
I love that. There's this book that I recently read. I forgot the title right now. I'm sure it's going to come to me later, but it was about like the topic was all the people that you need to know in business. And the whole thought of the book was just how much effort we sometimes put only in the lead generation side of the business, which
Mhm.
is obviously super important. But what you're mentioning is like, how do we get to retarget to these people? That the ones that have already said, hey, like your topic, what you're selling, what you're offering is kind of interesting. They have submitted your information. How do we continue to build kind of like that client journey that we can do for them? And in return, obviously, add value, but also build an amazing opportunity to connect with the list that we already have. Sometimes we put too much focus on how can I generate more leads instead of like, how can I connect in a deeper level with the people that already know and like me, already trust me, that my brand has done the job that it needed to do. And I think that that's an opportunity that, as you mentioned, most business owners have, because we're too focused on like, how do I continue to do the things that I need to do instead of focusing, how can I take what I have and leverage it the most. And I think in marketing, we have to focus on both. Like there, obviously we need like new, fresh, opportunities to be able to like talk to people and share what our mission, because business changes so often. But if we leave behind the people that already trust us, like I feel like it's just, we're always going to have that hunger for leads, which is a lot of the business owners that, like we run into, that marketing hasn't worked for me because they don't have a wholesome strategy for them. Can you tell us, Emily, in your experience, in business right now and like serving so many like home services, like different industries that you have been focused on, what do you think it's one of those opportunities? And I know that this is kind of like last minute question. You're like, oh my gosh, but what is an opportunity that you see businesses have in leveraging social media, in leveraging digital marketing, sorry, as a whole, in leveraging, in working with a partner like an agency like we have, that maybe a lot of them are still like, oh, I don't know if I should like work with an agency. I've heard so many things about digital marketing agency. Not all agencies are created equal, by the way, guys. So just FYI, but what are your thoughts on that for those people that are like, I think I would like to invest in that and really grow, but I haven't been able to do that yet?
Great, great question. I'm going to give you kind of a long answer here. My
Perfect.
first thing, I never believe a business should not do digital marketing because there is so much you can do with your team without paying anything.
Mhm.
And I would never want someone to think that they can't get started unless they're ready to pay an agency. Agencies are expensive. We know that. Okay, we're experts at what we do. There is a reason it's priced that way, but I would never want to discourage someone from just getting started.
Mhm.
Maybe you have a high school kid that you can hire to run your social media for a bit as you're growing. Maybe you can um, dabble in ads just to get familiarity with how much might they cost and what would it look like if I want to budget for that and take it to an agency. So I think that's important. Start with
Really
something,
important.
even
Mhm.
if it's on your own. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to working with an agency, you are paying for that expertise. So we're going to come with recommendations for what needs to be done, how to do it. I think if you're at that threshold of deciding whether or not to invest in marketing, you can't use it as a life raft. If your business is drowning, investing in an agency is not going to have the turnaround results you might need to keep your business afloat. And we don't want you investing in things as kind of a last ditch. Marketing is something that has to ramp up as your business grows with time. If you're hiking up a mountain, marketing is your backpack and your poles as you're hiking. We're not the rope pulling you to the summit, right? And I think sometimes marketing has been maybe positioned as the savior of a small business. Small businesses don't need saving, they need elevating.
Mhm.
So I think if you're in a mindset where you want to elevate your business, it already has strong foundation. Financially, you're in a good place. Your operations, your sales, your customer experience are in strong places. Then it's time to go get the poles in the backpack and get up that mountain. And I think that's what's really exciting is working with businesses who know that this is going to be a journey we take together and building that relationship and building those results.
I don't think I could have explained that better. I love the whole analogy between like we're not the rope, which is like what many business owners end up falling into, right? Like thinking like, okay, I am going to invest my last 2K, my last 3K,
Mhm.
into a digital marketing agency. And really the work takes time, right? It's not a just like said and done. Otherwise, I think like a lot of marketing agencies would be like, just like exploding, with just like that magic formula. It changes so much. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about the event is obviously all like focus on this fact or this idea of scaling with stability. I think I've asked all of our speakers to give me their perception of like what does it mean to you to scale with stability, and you seeing so many business owners and talking to so many business owners on a daily basis. What are your thoughts on that topic? What does it mean to really scale with stability?
Mm. I think scaling with stability is growing your business while maintaining and protecting your physical and emotional health. And the reason I think that's so important is health is wealth. Our bodies, our spirits, our mind, our time with our families, our time with ourselves, those are things that are so invaluable. And I see a lot of really hungry, well-intentioned entrepreneurs and business owners give more and more of themselves, sacrifice more and more in pursuit of this growth, and then look back and they have health ailments or they've missed out on key time with family or these other things that they have regrets about. And I think scaling with stability means how can I find the tools, the people, the systems, the processes that allow me to grow without losing myself, without losing the things that are most important to me. And sometimes growing with stability means I need to slow down. I have
Hmm.
the opportunity to zip right up, but it's stepping back and saying, is that healthy for me? Is this how I value and respect myself? Or is it to say I need to slow down a bit because where I'm going needs me to be at my healthiest and my best?
Absolutely. Throughout the 7 tracks, something that JC and I, we have seen in our journey in digital marketing and running a business and all this stuff is we have fallen through some of those misconceptions of like, we need to hustle, we need to like go, go, go. And, like take on the opportunity because you never know when another one's going to present, type of mentality. And I think that's where this concept really became so important to us, and like this framework that JC has created, right, of like the pillars of scaling with stability that we're going to showcase at the event. But I think it's so true when we don't focus on being healthy, whether that's financially healthy, mindset, just like actual health, like in your body and your family, like you lose so much more, than just like a client. You lose so much more than an opportunity, because opportunities will come and go. But like that foundation that really allows you to scale, it's what really becomes it and helps you to become stable. So I love it. I think that like what you're going to be sharing, and it's going to be you, Kagan, and Haiti, right, at the event at the.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then we're going to be joined by another special guest named Jacob, who works at another agency.
Oh,
We thought it would be even cooler to provide
yeah.
multiple perspectives,
I
because
love that.
no individual agency is the most perfect thing
Absolutely.
ever. And we thought it would be more valuable to have more perspectives.
I love that. I think that's going to be great for everybody that's attending. So if you haven't picked your track, not only are you going to hear from Hite, you're going to hear from another agency as well, multiple voices, all speaking to what you really should be doing in digital marketing to grow and scale your business and obviously take it to the next level. I'll tell you, those three people, Emily, Kagan, and obviously Jacob as well, but Haiti as well, just what a powerhouse. Like, you guys are gonna like bring from like that perspective of growth from different angles that I truly love. Kagan is bringing it from an operations standpoint. Haiti, I know, she has been probably in every single role inside of Hite. She like brings this like perspective that I think is super valuable, but also from a sales and growth perspective, I think that it's going to be really cool for all those business owners that are really wanting to take their business to the next level. And how do I take advantage of these tools, whether you're working with an agency or not? Like Emily mentioned, I think it's about taking the next step and understanding where you're at, so you are clear about like, my next step is this. It might not be hiring an agency, but I can take everything that I can from the 6 hours in this track with multiple digital marketing agencies available there at the track, and just take advantage of that to grow. Thank you so much, Emily. Is there any final words of wisdom before we invite everybody to come and join us at the event next week?
Only words of wisdoms from an event: bring Band-Aids, bring Advil, have comfortable walking shoes, and I cannot wait to see you in Searcy, Arkansas, which is a sentence I never thought you would hear me say.
Searcy, Arkansas. Isn't it crazy? We're all going to be there in a week. And you spoke from experience, guys. Be prepared. There's not going to be a ton of walking, but there will be some walking. I'm excited for everybody to see the campus. This is the first time that we're doing an event at a university, which is kind of like, not very common, I think, especially in the day today. But we are, we're all about doing experiments and just like going through and, being weird. I think that's the case. But we're super excited. Thank you, Emily, again. I am so excited for everybody that is coming to your track, that is listening to you speak. As you can tell, Emily is an amazing communicator, but even more, even better is the experience that she's bringing, as well as everybody else that's going to be on that track. So I appreciate you. And yeah, guys, go to skillwithstability.com. If you haven't gotten your ticket, we still have, I think we're almost sold out, if we're not sold out already, of the VIPs, but I know we have standard tickets available still. So make sure to get it today for those that are very last minute. We love those last minute people in event hosting. See you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you so much, Emily.